Hello everybody. I'm going to do a review on this Husky bucket jockey. This is SKU number 73033. I picked this up at Home Depot for $9.97. This is a 47 pocket storage unit that you can put in a 5-gallon bucket, which you'll need to supply your own bucket. I purchased this because I usually use a different little tool bag, and I throw tools in it on occasion and take them to my workspace at home, wherever I'm working. And it's very difficult to get. You have to unload the bag to get your stuff out, etc., etc. Or I hand carry things in one at a time, thinking I'm going to do a 5-minute job, and I end up with 50 tools in there to get it done. And then I have to hand carry them all back. So I purchased this so I could put it in a bucket, load it up for my task in hand, and take it to my workspace. This would be very good for a DIY person, working at home. If you didn't have very many tools, use this as your toolbox. You can put it in a 5-gallon bucket, which you have to supply yourself, obviously, and keep all your tools in it and carry them around the house and do this, that, and the other. That's not discounting actual people that would use them in industry, like electricians or maybe plumbers, or maybe somebody's doing a PM maintenance on heavy machinery and they go from company to company, things of that nature. Very quality product as far as I can tell. Now, like I said, this is a 47 pocket unit. Harbor Freight does sell a 52 pocket unit for $9.99. Let's say save money within 2 cents. If you apply the 25% coupon, you're $7.49 roughly plus tax out the door. But just looking online, the quality of their stitching seemed to be a little bit inadequate in my opinion, even though it had a larger number of pockets. I may be mistaken, but that's what I see. Now, Lowe's also sells one from Blue Hawk, which is a 75 pocket. That's a lot of pockets, for $6.98. And based on what I'd seen online, the quality of the stitching, everything seemed to look really good with that one. But geographically speaking, it was more conducive for me to go to Home Depot because it was closer and spend just a little bit more money, even though I got less pockets. Now, the Blue Hawk from Lowe's and this one, the Husky from Home Depot, they do both have a pocket where you could put a cordless drill. The Husky has a bunch of other pockets around it where you could actually put bits if you chose to, which I thought that was a pretty neat feature. The one from Blue Hawk did not have that advantage. So this is going to work for me. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a bucket and show how it fits and show what I was using, and then I'll load it up with some tools and give you my final thoughts. Okay, well, here's the type of bag I would typically use for carrying tools around and whatnot. And it has pockets all around the outside, and it has some inner pockets, but it just doesn't, it's not real conducive to keeping everything really organized. So you end up just throwing things in the bottom. So like I said, this is what I carry around my house and going places or whatnot. And once you get to your workspace, you've got to dig and unload and pull things out. So it's really just a transporter. It's not really an organizer, in my opinion. Now, they work, but I think this other one's going to be a lot better for my intended purpose. There's nothing wrong with this type of bag. I've used them for years, but I was looking for something a little bit better. Alright, well, I've installed it in a bucket. My bucket just happens to be black, but any 5-gallon bucket will do. You'll need to provide your own to utilize this. I failed to mention it does have 12 internal pockets in here where you can put miscellaneous items or whatnot. Then, of course, this larger space of the bucket, you can drop in whatever you want. Hand saws, maybe corded drills, whatever. There is also, I'm assuming this is what they're calling a hammer holder. You can put your hammer through this loop to where it's always in one position. But the fit to the bucket is like a glove. It fits like a glove. You can see this little, hopefully you can, there's a little tab sticking off right here with a hole in it. My assumption is you can take the handle off your bucket, loop it down through this tab, and your handle will always stay in the upright position like that. Have not experimented with that, but I believe that's the way that's supposed to work. It also has this other strap with a clip on it. I guess you could put rolls of tape or whatever you could find a purpose for that. But all in all, that's the general overview of it. I'm getting ready to just put some random tools in it and show you that. Alright, well, I've randomly loaded up a bunch of tools in it, and I still have absolutely tons of room. I really do like this pouch for the drill here. Seems to work just fine. You can see I've got some screwdrivers. Really my only complaint might be is the holes in these slots, these pockets where you would put screwdrivers. They're closed off on the bottom. So this driver won't go all the way down in there because it's got quite a large shank on it, as well as this big one here. It just, you know, I really felt like they should leave those open on the bottom so you could seat these all the way down. But outside of that, that's no big deal. You can see I just loaded up with tons of random stuff. And like I just grabbed some rolls of tape to throw on this. Just miscellaneous items. And even this, you know, this is a bunch of bits. Screwdriver bits and whatnot. There's a pocket even big enough for that. That's why I wouldn't use these little pockets here for putting screwdriver bits for your drill, regular Phillips, whatever. I got a little set of those, so I just keep them in that. The only thing I put inside of it thus far, you know, was just the hammer right here. And that little strap thing, you know, it works, but heck, you know, it's not all that useful. But all in all, I think it is a superb item for the money. Like I said, especially for the DIYer, you know, you don't need a toolbox. Heck, I unloaded 2 drawers to put in this thing, and I've got tons of room left. So I would highly recommend one if you guys don't already have one. I can't speak for the other ones, but I can speak for this one. It's certainly going to do the job for me. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck.